I love that it's, and
Sorry.
that's all right. I love that you're a volunteer teacher organization because with Civil Air Patrol, we are an all volunteer organization. So I think that we will meld well together tonight, and I hope that something we talk about today will be of interest to you. First of all, I'll tell you once again, my name is Susan Mallett. I live in Montgomery, Alabama. I work at Civil Air Patrol's national headquarters at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm a retired school teacher and school principal. I was a K through 6 aerospace themed school. I've been doing that with my school since 1986. So before aerospace was cool, we were doing aerospace at our little school in Montgomery, Alabama. And in the early 90s, a gentleman at my church told me, if you're going to do this aerospace stuff, you're going to have to take your students flying. So he took my students out to the Aero Club here at Maxwell. I was not military at all, but I became military oriented very quickly. So we started flying the students each year, and the students had to earn their flights, which was an easy thing to do because once we started integrating aerospace related STEM, we didn't have STEM back in the day, but we've been teaching it, as you all know, all these years. The students were really working toward bettering their conduct and their academic performance and such. So everyone earned their flights and such. Now, of course, we have the Experimental Aircraft Association that provides Young Eagle flights to students around the nation. So it's not a novelty any longer, but it's been a great ride. And I was a teacher and an educator, principal, and a college instructor for 31 years. And then in 2006, I didn't know I was getting ready to retire, but I was asked to join the Civil Air Patrol's national headquarters because I'd been using their aerospace programs and products for many years. So I'm the education outreach coordinator for our national headquarters, and I work with organizations all around the country as well as teachers around the country. We have different membership categories at Civil Air Patrol. We have a paid staff, which I am now, but we also have volunteer members across the nation. We have adult members, they're called senior members. They are members of squadrons and they meet once a week at their squadrons, typically near a military base or an airport. And then we have cadets ages 12 and above that also meet weekly in these squadrons. But we have a special category of membership called aerospace education members. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. I've been an aerospace education member since 1986. Although I love the organization, I never joined a squadron to become a uniformed member because these members do wear uniforms, much like the military, as we are the auxiliary of the military, which I'll tell you in just a moment. But with me is one of my favorite aerospace education members. We call them AEMs. And her name is Megan Tucker. And Megan has been an AEM with Civil Air Patrol almost as long as I have, but not quite, but almost. And Megan has written curriculum for us. She's an ambassador for us and helps us do workshops and presentations when we're not available at our staff, but she lives in Virginia. But I'm going to let Megan tell you a little bit about herself before we go into our presentation.
Good evening. I'm excited to be on the call tonight and to learn more about your organization as well. As Susan mentioned, I got introduced to aerospace education my second year teaching, and it really did change my trajectory. I got involved with Civil Air Patrol. I've been a member over 20 years, and it has brought so much to me. I'm a military spouse, so I've moved all over the United States through being stationed at different bases, and everywhere I went, I brought Civil Air Patrol with me. It's a great tool to have in your tool belt, and you guys are going to see through this presentation, there's already curriculum aligned to what you're teaching. There's specific earth science curriculum. It's just such an amazing treasure that I think will really help you in the classroom. And I mean, the resources that you're about to see in this presentation, it's kind of like the best kept secret that shouldn't be a secret, we joke about all the time, because it's really an amazing asset to any classroom. And like I mentioned, I started teaching in Florida. I taught fourth grade for a couple of years. Moved to California, taught at Palmdale Aerospace Academy, where I taught seventh grade STEM. And then my husband retired from the military. I'm now in Northern Virginia at Hillsborough Charter Academy. I'm their Dean of Curriculum, STEAM specialist, gifted teacher, tech, very small school. But aerospace is a a very strong thread through our entire school. So we've been a National Civil Air Patrol School of the Year, and I really, really, really like love this curriculum, and I really am excited for you to see all the awesome things that we're about to show you.
Thanks, Megan. I really appreciate that. So both of us love this organization. Obviously, so if I've been a member since 1986 and been working here since 2006. It could be time for me to retire, but I think that most of us, if we're passionate about what we do, it's not work to us. It is just pure joy every day. And part of the joy is meeting new people like all of you tonight. So I hope that you will find one good thing that will be beneficial to you in your learning and teaching environments. And if you have questions afterward, we'll have time to ask those questions, and I'll always be open via email. So, uh, Artis, I think I'll let you get started, and we'll go to the first slide, please. But this presentation is for formal and informal educators, because I saw many of you are both. And so you don't just have to be a classroom teacher. You can be an informal teacher at a museum, a library, a youth organization, church, anything. Any way that you work with young people is the way that you can become a member of our organization as an educator member. I mean, the things I'm going to tell you about today, again, I'm very passionate about, because I created most of these programs, and I really feel like I've birthed a family here, and then I've got adopted children like Megan who go along and they become ambassadors and build out these programs. So I'm very excited to share it. But let me give you a little history of Civil Air Patrol. That we were formed in 1941 for civilian aviation purposes. We are a nonprofit humanitarian organization. We're chartered by Congress. We're also funded by a grant, so we're working on wondering if we're all going to be here next week. But we're also the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. So we wear two hats. We are a corporation, humanitarian organization, and we're the auxiliary of the Air Force. So we wear those two hats. And we have oversight by the United States Air Force. But we started a cadet program, as I told you about, ages 12 and above, in 1942. In 1946, we were incorporated by Congress. In 1948, we became the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. Thus, that is why our members wear uniforms, much like the military. And we do not promote anyone to move into the military or anything, and we're the non-combat arm, if you will, of the military. But in 1953, we began doing aerospace education in school systems around the country. Most of it was high school, as you can well imagine. But today we are in schools all around the nation. And many people say that we are the leading youth and aerospace STEM organization in the nation, because our programs have impacted so many young people, as you'll see as we move along. We do continue to provide myriad STEM opportunities for diverse populations of youth across the country, from rural to inner city to everywhere in between. So if you could click on that military makeover video for me, Artis, it'll give you an idea about our organization.
Civil Air Patrol is a civilian auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force that you might not know about. You don't need to be a pilot or have military experience to join. It's a volunteer auxiliary. You do need to be interested in community service, mentoring, and bringing out the best in others.
Civil Air Patrol, or CAP, was founded in 1941, just 1 week before the attack on Pearl Harbor that launched the United States into World War II. It was originally formed to train pilots and patrol the coastline looking for enemy submarines. Today, CAP has many new missions, including search and rescue, emergency services, humanitarian relief, youth development, and aerospace education for K through 12. And behind these important initiatives and life-saving missions, military veterans and dedicated community members who volunteer their time, expertise, and passion for giving back. Meet Brigadier General Edward Felkup. He helps lead the task force of more than 50,000 CAP volunteers.
CAP is a congressionally chartered nonprofit corporation that operates in all 50 states, plus Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. Civil Air Patrol members are proud to wear the uniform of the United States Air Force as the official auxiliary of the Air Force. It's a way for our members to be connected with service to our country. I joined Civil Air Patrol when I was 14. I was really interested in serving in the military, and it turned out that Civil Air Patrol service ended up being the way I served my country. but we have a lot of former members of the military who continue their service to the nation in Civil Air Patrol. CAP has over 25,000 cadets across the country, ranging in age from 12 to 20 years old, and they're exploring careers in both military-related as well as civilian-related career fields.
Meet Cadet Major Valeria Pacheco Lugo, a CAP cadet from the Puerto Rico wing.
We get to learn about different STEM career opportunities, and we also get to participate of emergency services activities. So it's really awesome. It's really unique in a way, especially because of the people in the Civil Air Patrol. Senior members and cadets is a very good environment and a very diverse environment. The Civil Air Patrol has helped me grow my character and leadership skills, especially because I was a very shy person when I entered the Civil Air Patrol, and being in a different environment enabled me to grow as a leader and as a young person. My parents joined the Civil Air Patrol because I actually convinced them to. They saw me wearing the uniform, and I think they were very proud to see me serving my community voluntarily.
Meet Colonel Andrea Van Buren, CAP's first female region commander in the Southeast. She's responsible for commanding 6 of CAP's 52 wings, including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
The Civil Air Patrol is an incredibly diverse program, especially for females and minorities. And the Cadet Wings program in particular, which takes young people and helps them achieve their private pilot's licenses, that average is even more within the program than it is in general aviation. The Cadet Wings program has about 27% of our cadet students are female, whereas general aviation female pilots only account for about 7% worldwide. I originally joined Civil Air Patrol as an adult about 21 years ago. And what drew me to the program was actually the flying. As a pilot, I was interested in the very unique flying missions that we do.
Civil Air Patrol, our Air Force auxiliary, is looking for more volunteer pilots, educators, and leaders to serve America's communities on the ground and in the air, save lives, and shape tomorrow's leader, today's youth.
Our members come from all walks of life. We have doctors, nurses, administrative professionals, finance experts. Chances are we have a job for you in the Civil Air Patrol.
Thank you, Artis. I appreciate that very much. We'll move along and find out a little bit more about the organization. So we get back to the slide presentation.
Yeah, I'm working on it. All right.
I know you are.
We got it. All right, let's try to go back to slideshow mode. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you. So we'll go on to the next slide. There you go. So how can you or your school or homeschool or youth organization, museum, library, or any other STEM-based organization become involved in our organization? How can you benefit from the amazing free STEM products and programs that inspire youth to soar? We're going to tell you all about that now. So we'll go to the next slide to tell you about how you could become an aerospace education member if you wanted to do that. There is a one-time $35 membership fee to become an aerospace education member, and there's free annual renewal after that. Once you become a member, every single thing that we offer and we show you today will be free to you. So there's no other cost ever to you unless you don't renew and you have to rejoin. But other than that, that's all there is to it. We do not expect our teacher members, our educator members, to be a member of a squadron. They don't wear uniforms. They don't go to meetings. They just inspire youth with STEM education. So I told you about the K through 12 formal and informal eligibility. You're all eligible. And then all the free memberships to follow. I think I'm going to skip this video and move on to the slides, and we'll see where we can go from there. So let's move on why we want to help inspire young people towards STEM careers. Well, one of the most exciting things is our teacher orientation program flights. Obviously, we fly our cadets and teach them how to fly, and our adult members do a lot of flying as well. during their search and rescue missions, homeland security, and disaster relief observations. But for the teacher flight, this is an exciting way for educators to get out of the classroom and into the sky and learn about the principles of flight as they go through their pre-flight briefing. They get in the cockpit, and the pilot allows them to take the controls and feel how those control surfaces are working and flying the plane. You can fly over your school or your organization. The students can be outside watching. You can live stream down to them. You can radio down to them. You can video it, and then bring the pilot back to the classroom later to talk about different careers. So it's really a great experience. So Megan, you want to add something to that?
I just want to say that if you have some teachers too that join Civil Air Patrol and you want to really get them hooked on what they're doing, get them on this teacher orientation program flight. In the comments, Susan, people were commenting, I guess we've had a couple that have flown, saying that they loved their flight, and Artis has even flown, which is awesome. So it says something when you fly over your own school. As Susan mentioned, you can have the kids outside and take pictures in aerial view. We've had our principal fly over and wave at the kids. There's just so many opportunities to jazz up everyone in this flight and use it as a motivation tool as well as an awesome experience for the teacher.
And Megan said something about any other teachers that you might want to invite. And she mentioned her principal flew many times. And I don't know how difficult it is now, but back in the day when I first started, I had a really difficult time getting my principal to approve any of the things that I was doing. So and my principal also had a tough time understanding how aerospace education fit in a reading classroom. So when you're trying to ensure that you have support from your school system, your principal, your organization, you might want to give that person a complimentary membership and take them flying as well. And it certainly does bring some buy-in to you. The other good thing about such a flight is if you're having any kind of your own science days that you want some media to cover that, having a teacher flight during that event is a good way to bring in media, have the media even to fly with you if that's approved where you are. But taking pictures and videos from there, obviously we can take drone videos, but there's something to be said about someone who's leading a program, flying above head and talking to the young people or the audience on the ground via radio and speakers on the ground. So this is one of our highlighted educational opportunities for teachers. So you can fly one time a year, and we certainly want you to fly as often as you can. So I'll go to the next slide, Artis. Thank you. And then there are free educational products. Today, many people do not use books. And they only want things online. So we have over 40 educational products that are either in print, if you're a hold the book kind of person, and then online as well. Of course, we like the online version because we can add those added links that you can just click on to do some interactive type additions to the lessons that you're working on. Megan has helped write many of our curriculum products here. So Megan, if you would say a few words about all of the products that we have from K through 12.
Sure. And to highlight for this organization and the audience that we're talking to, the AEX books are themed. There's a bunch of AEX books, let me be clear. There's some that are elementary focused, and then there's AEX2, which is middle and high school focused. But there's 3 special ones that have each branch of science. There's a physical science, a life science, and an earth science AEX book where they're aligned to the next gen standards, as well as other standards. But it's something that you don't have to be nervous and think, well, I don't have a degree in aerospace. How am I going to teach it? We wrote the lessons with that in mind, and we give so many resources, videos, background knowledge, connections to the real world so that you're comfortable teaching it. And most of the lessons, if not all of them in the curriculum books, also have a way for the students to complete some sort of assessment to show their learning, whether it be a pre-test, post-test, or even a worksheet that goes with it. An interactive activity. The kids love it because it's very hands-on. They don't even realize they're learning those harder science concepts because it's through the lens of this aerospace activity, which a lot of the times has an engineering basis. But it really is a good concrete way to show some of those concepts that you're trying to teach in the science classroom. And it's highly engaging, which makes it a lot of fun to teach too.
Thank you, Megan. And we've just hired a new education curriculum editor and such. So she's going to be revamping all of our products, and hopefully there will be even better than what the teachers are liking now. But as you can see, we've got aerospace for the very young, and we've got advanced math for the program. You can see an astronomy book there. We have a STEM kit that goes with that book. So we've got kits that go along with these books as well. We have unmanned aerial systems, so we've got STEM kits that go with that book too. So we try to connect what we're doing, our hands-on activities and products with our curriculum that we have. Artist next. And then I talked about the kits. We have a K through 12 STEM kit program. Right now, it says we have 20 plus kits. We have 21. I counted today because it varies with the vendors and the supply chain and such like that. But we have a good variety of STEM kits I'm going to show you in just a moment. But these are, you order them one at a time, use them, evaluate them, and keep them, and then order another. I'm going to tell you more than one time tonight that if you're interested in ordering a STEM kit anytime soon, we hope that you'll join as an aerospace education member and order your first kit before the end of March, because our STEM kit team is doing a pause on the STEM kit program for a couple of months. I think it may even be until July. So if you want to order something now, would be the time to order it in March. We always order the kits during any 1 month. We collect all those orders, send them to the vendor the first of the next month, and you receive them after that. So in the future, when school starts back again, then you can be ready to order another kit. And you can foreseeably order 3 to 4 kits during the year if you move fast through them. And you plan well between them. And you can plan with your organization. And if you decide you want to have a rocketry program, everyone orders rocketry kits, and you'll have all the materials there at no cost to you, the launchers, the engines, and everything that you need. So if we go to the next page, artists. So in the STEM kit program, we have pre and post tests that the teachers, we ask them to please do. That helps us track, how these kits are having an impact in the classroom. And 87% of the young people that take these pre and post tests and work with these STEM kits show a greater interest in these varied STEM careers. Because when we started the STEM kit program, we decided that it would be a hands-on activity. It would be an intro program so that young people and the teachers would get an interest in one of these topics through the STEM kit, and then build on out into bigger and better things. When you look at the robotics workshop kit, that is an intro type robotics kit. But for those teachers who haven't been doing robotics, it's a good way for them to get started. And then they can move into FIRST, VEX, all the other robotics programs that they might want to be involved in, the UAS for STEM program that the Academy of Model Aeronautics is involved in. So we want them to be introductory. We want them to be fun. We want to have educational curriculum to go along with them. Excuse me. But we also want to have subject matter experts aligned with these. Now, our STEM kit team is a little behind on connecting some of those subject matter experts. But I just mentioned the Academy of Model Aeronautics, so you can align them with the robotics, of course, because they do the drones. But we have remote control aircraft and such that they use. We did have indoor and outdoor quadcopters. We're having to back off those until we can get some new ones that are American made, as is required by what we're having through our Air Force money now. But when you look at the rocketry kits, I told you about that earlier, you can team up with Team America Rocketry Challenge. We've got flight simulators. And then when you want to go into deeper, we've got cross-country navigation kits to go along with those flight simulators. You can contact some of our CAP members in our squadrons to come in and help you instruct with any of these products, especially the flight simulators, because we are predominantly pilot-oriented organization. But the weather station is one of our lesser used kits, but it is one of my favorites. It was one of the first ones that we included in this program. And we like this too because last spring we worked with NASA's global, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of their program, the global mission. Anyway, we worked with NASA, and that program, maybe that'll come to me as we move along. Please excuse my dead moment here. But we worked with them and we provided data to them that the cadets collected all around the country. So we provided the data that about the clouds, the weather, and all that was being tracked during the solar eclipse. And NASA saw that CAP was this great organization that could provide that kind of information from all around the country. And they want to do more things with us. So we're working now on a new program that's going to be weather based. So our new weather station will be focused right in that in the next couple of months, working on a new program with NASA. So I think that that'll be something good that probably all of you would want to be involved in too with your Earth and space science programs that you're working on. So the weather station is really great. The students can track that. They can, if they're out of school, they can do the daily weather at the school and other activities along that as well. So let me slip on to the next page. And then
real quick in the chat, someone asked if that's the GLOBE program in all capitals.
NASA GLOBE. Okay. Yes, thank you. I knew it was GLOBE, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so here's some other examples of our STEM kits. We've got Snaptricity, bridge building, 30 Days Lost in Space. And here's our little telescope that we have that goes with that astronomy book I showed you, because we want the persons who get these kits, like the astronomy kit, to reach out to the Astronomical Society chapter nearest them and bring them in to do bigger and better telescopes than this. Why do we have this small little telescope, this little Celestron? Because it is a very kid-friendly telescope. It is easy to use. But again, I want to express the fact that most of our recipients of the kits are introductory teachers and squadron members who don't know a lot about astronomy. So this is the way to get started. Reach out to their local planetarium, their Astronomical Society chapter, or your artists of the world, and have them help come out and do stargazing parties and bring their big giant telescopes and make astronomy something real for them. So that is a great thing. So Megan, do you have any comments on any of the two slides I've just shown?
I just want to say, Susan, fun story. We use the hydraulics kit today. So that one's really great at technical directions. I put in the chat, I asked people what they teach. Most of these guys are high school, but I teach elementary. So I had one of my students build the hydraulic lift, and it said in the directions, they're very technical, but then they have little jokes on the side. And it was like, now get your pet hamster and see if it works. And we literally have a pet hamster. So we put it on the hydraulic lift, and that was like the true test of this STEM kit. So the kids get all in, and the great part, and I think Susan mentioned at some point, but I just want to reiterate, if you pay your $35 fee and the school doesn't pay it for you, then whatever you get through these kits, it is yours because you're the one that is paying that fee. So a lot of times with grants, you move schools, it doesn't get to go with you. And with this, it's different. There's a letter that comes with it. You're the one trained how to use it. So just kind of plug to sign up, because then you'll have all these kits to come with you. The Spheros are great too. I was looking at some of the things people teach, Susan, just so you know, there's a lot of high school astronomy, earth science, chemistry, hydroponics, earth space.
Wow. Yeah.
STEAM, all kinds of awesome things where the Sphero actually can be leveled up with the complexity of the coding. And another plug for like even the flight sims and the cross-country navigation. I think that would be something really cool to look at. So
good. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I meant to talk about this earlier, that I know that looking at many people on your board from your and your region people on the website, that you are high school and above. But I want to always remind people that you do work with young people too, even if you're working at a high school, because there are always going to be young people in special camps and programs that you have. So that's why I said I hope you can find one thing that will be beneficial to you, whether it's for your current grade level or any outreach that you're doing. So the good thing is that with us at Civil Air Patrol, we get our cadets, which I'll talk about in a moment, to go into the classrooms and teach the younger students things to get them excited about different areas of STEM and STEAM as they're moving forward. So the mentoring is a really important part of our organization, and it can be for the young people with whom you work as well, to try to introduce some of these kits to them to get them involved in programs. So let's go to the next slide, artist. Okay, so we have an elementary program. It's the kindergarten through sixth grade. It's actually the eighth grade, though. We use the sixth grade curriculum for eighth grade too. So K through 8, it's a grade level specific program. Megan uses this program all the time, but we use the aerospace theme to promote all areas of academics, character development, and physical fitness. This was developed for elementary schools, how they were divided up into the classroom teacher for academics, the counselor for character ed, and the PE teacher for physical fitness. But as we grew the program, we realized that as we're trying to train young people for those future careers that we're trying to get them to go toward, they need to know the academics, but they also need the character aspect, which is the responsibility, being conscientious, having high level of integrity, and all those things, as well as being physically fit and drug free. So all of those things are embedded throughout this program. And we like that because we're trying to start early on to get young people interested in something that they might want to do when they're an adult, but preparing themselves with good character and good physical fitness to be prepared for that and not make those early mistakes that would prohibit them from being able to do the jobs they want to do. So this one is really important to me. Megan has done this program for years, and as she said, her school has been our National ACE School of the Year. She's been our National ACE Teacher of the Year. We're not all after awards, but I'm just trying to tell you that she really does work hard with us. So if you want to add anything about the ACE program, Megan?
Yes, when I taught in California, I had a high school club. And my high school club would take this, and there was also a sixth grade club. And so they would do outreach. They would take the sixth grade lessons, they would learn the lessons, and then they would go lead the club. So it's another way for outreach, just taking those lessons, as Susan mentioned, and having them be the experts and go in, because as you guys know, I'm sure kids listen to kids more than they listen to us as teachers, and other kids can have an even bigger impact. So I encourage you, if there's an elementary school or a mentoring opportunity, to use Civil Air Patrol for it. It benefits everyone.
It really does. And each grade level comes with its own class set of manipulative items that some of the lessons go along with. So the lessons are online, and we try to keep that updated, and we're updating those now with this new curriculum person that we've hired as well. But the thing is, the students get something in their hands too. So if you're doing a summer camp, and you think that you might could use something in any of these grades, and you look on the website and find the manipulative items that go with that grade level, it would be smart of you now to go ahead and register for that program too, because the registration for ACE closes every year on March 31st. And that doesn't mean you have to do everything then. You can do it for summer camp or whatever you're doing. This year or last year, we exceeded 100,000 students across the nation in the ACE program. This year, we're already at 111,000 young people across the nation. So it's a really big program, grows every single year. And so we're really proud of how that helps with building the young people that we need into the future workforce. So next page, slide, please. And we've had over 750,000 students across the nation inspired by this program. And there you can see some of the curriculum guides that we have for each grade level. My favorite picture of all time is the one at the bottom, with those students are using our flight simulator and they're just having the best time. But the picture on my right is a mentoring picture. And everything that we try to do is mentoring, be it older students, any adults, people in the military, or any people throughout the school system. So we wrote this curriculum specifically for volunteers to come into a classroom or to do a camp. If you do read these, you'll see it. It is really step by step, and it is made so that anyone, even a high school or a middle school student, could teach younger students. So it's a really easy program and good program. Go ahead, please, artist, please. And then we have ACE Plus, is where we have our squadrons go into these ACE classrooms and mentor the young people, teach some of the lessons, tell them about the Civil Air Patrol program, because as young people, when they turn 12, they might want to be a part of an organization like this. Not every student obviously would want to do that, but we bring the cadets into the classroom as well, and they are acting as great mentors and role models for those young people. And sometimes young people don't know what they want until they've been introduced to some of these careers through the adults or either the young people. So each year we have about 2,200 students that are adopted across the nation, and that's one way we get into the classrooms. So go ahead, show the next slide, please, artist. Okay, and this is additional support for CAP squadrons coming into the classroom. They can assist with any program implementation that you have. If you're even having a camp or you work in a museum or you need people to help in any kind of volunteer way, Civil Air Patrol squadrons can really be some people who can come and help you, both adults and the cadets. And you just Google Civil Air Patrol, enter your zip code where it says find your local squadron, and you can find the contact information for your local squadrons. It's expanding your search radius from 10 to 100 miles. So hopefully there's someone who can come and help you. And they really want to do this. They're all volunteers. Most of them have their own careers and jobs, and the cadets are going to school, but they will try to make work themselves and help you in your classroom. They'll provide your teacher flights, they'll share the programs, and they'll bring classroom speakers to your programs and arrange for field trips to airports and museums. So there's a lot that our squadron members can do. And that's right, Megan, there are a lot of them. You have to decide which one and where to start. Very good. So let's go to the next slide. And while we're going to the next slide, Megan, could you tell us about how you integrate CAP members in your school?
Sure. So, like I said before, sometimes bringing in a fresh face does wonders. We actually have a flight fun day where we have a whole day where we have the different speakers come in, and I always start with Civil Air Patrol. I love getting the cadets to come in and do the presentation of the colors. That's always really fun for the kids to see other kids in leadership roles. Coming in to teach lessons, the lessons, as I mentioned, depending on which curriculum you're using and what you're trying to teach to the students, it is awesome to have community members come in. And you would actually probably be surprised if you put out a call to your school about how many people either are pilots, are involved in aviation or aerospace, but even are involved in Civil Air Patrol. There's probably a lot of people that you might not even realize that they're adult members, or there's even near your high schools, your local high schools, they might have a squadron, or somewhere where the kids are going from that high school to a squadron. Where they would be willing to come in and help. So I think the biggest way is just starting and getting somebody to come in and team teach a lesson with you and have them be the technical expert. That's very helpful, especially if there's something you're maybe nervous about, or a lesson that you're like, I like these others, but this one has me a little bit, I'd like some help. So technical advisors are great, and they love talking to the kids. So it's definitely a great way to get somebody to come in and be a fresh face for them to learn from the community.
That's true. So you've probably read this slide by now. So let's slide on and find out what all that your young people can be involved in the cadet program. Again, it's for ages 12 through 18. Young people can stay a cadet up until age 21, but they can't join after age 18. There's a lot to do. It is a military style program, but it involves great character and leadership development, aerospace STEM career exploration. We have so many career exploration opportunities for young people. The students can even earn their private pilot certificate through the Civil Air Patrol. And of course, they have physical fitness and drill and ceremony as well. And then a lot of community service and mentoring. So that is an excellent program. I think I've already told you how to find your local squadron. So I hope that maybe if any of your students are interested, you could direct them there or have someone come into your class. Next slide, please. So here are some of the career exploration opportunities that the Civil Air Patrol has for cadets through the summer. As you can read through them, there's just great variety. So I know that some of you would probably be interested in the meteorology part of it, any of the technology stuff, engineering or advanced technology, cybersecurity, and any kind of STEM educator careers too. They even learn how to be an educator through our career exploration. So there's just so many opportunities across the nation all during the summer and many times during the school year. So there's not a lack of opportunity out there for the young people. There are academic scholarships to these career exploration events, and scholarships to do international travel too. So all that is great. Next slide, please. And then the benefits of the cadet program, I think I've pretty much talked about it though, but it does offer good STEM role models for these young people. And I'll tell you one quick story, because when I first started working at Civil Air Patrol, I was hired to work with a new program they were starting. It's a Cadets at School program, where these squadrons are set up at schools so that these young people who don't have parents who can take them to an evening meeting somewhere, they can stay at school and meet after school. So I was working with some of these school programs, and so I obviously interviewed some of the young students there, and the stories that they told were just amazing. That they were D and F students until they got involved with Civil Air Patrol, and the adults were giving them this great structure, and giving them reasons to do good and well in life and at school. And they were now A and B students because they found a reason to work hard and to do well. And they found a group that accepted them for who they were and how they were, and helped them to become better people, better speakers, better, more responsible and respectful young people. And it's really exciting. I just love that, what it does for young people across the nation. So of course the physically fit part is difficult for some of the students, as we all know. We need that physically fit trend going across the nation, but it's a good program that will help with that as well. So let me just move along there, since we're running close to out of time. So I think I've told you how you can join, inspire the youth. And so, Megan, I'd like for you to add anything else you want to add that you think would be pertinent to them, and then maybe we could have some questions at the end.
I mean, I just want to reiterate, it's been over 20 years, and I have found a way to integrate Civil Air Patrol into all of my different jobs. And I've worked with pre-K all the way up through high school. There's so many different things that you can do. There's so many ways this can enhance what you're already doing. As Susan mentioned, she was teaching reading. You guys are already teaching science. You're right there, in the right vein of the things that we're providing to make your program even better. So my advice to you would be to just find one thing and try it. Because I think once you do, you'll be hooked, and then you'll be able to figure out, how to get more. And Susan is a great reference as far as if you would like a place to start, if you just would like some advice on what might be a good idea, you can always email her, and she can put you in touch with me too. I'm happy to help if somebody's kind of getting into it and wants to know where to start. It really is like, once you get a little taste of it, it's like anything that's awesome, you're just going to want more. And there's a lot of them more to explore. So just let us know. We're here to help you.
Right, and I've just put the link to this presentation in the chat if anybody wants or needs that for any reason. So if anyone has any questions, please ask. We'll be happy to answer. If not, we can keep you to your 45-minute time frame. We'll do whatever you need, artists.
If anybody's online and you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask. We're a small group here.
Okay.
I have two questions. Hi, I'm Randall.
Hi,
Thanks
Randall.
for being here tonight. I appreciate it. So in the past, I've done some high altitude weather balloon experiments with some of my students. Have you guys ever done anything like that? Do you offer anything along those lines in terms of like resources to assist or anything like that?
Well, we started during COVID with a high altitude balloon challenge, but only for our cadets. And we have a program where they're working on their science experiments. It's mostly space science oriented program. The vehicle to get them there is just the high altitude balloon. We have many teachers who want to do that. We haven't built out resources. We give a link to where people can go find the resources for their science experiments and such. And that is an internal program for our cadets. They work really hard on that program. And I know what you're asking, and I'm not telling you what you're asking, but I'm going to tell you this. The cadets love it because they designed their mission patch. They have a pre-launch video that they tell us about what they've researched and what they've done, which organizations they've used as subject matter experts. And then they provide a post-launch documentary video and tell us what they would do if they won the $5,000 prize and the cup that goes with that, the Kittinger Cup. So our ambassador was this wonderful gentleman, Colonel Joe Kittinger, who did high altitude balloon exploration back in the 60s. And he died 2 years ago, but his family is keeping the legacy alive by helping with that, sending the $5,000 prize to our top team. But we know that everyone can do that. We just have not done that in the school and informal educator part because we don't have the funding to do that or the manpower at this point. We really hope to do that because through working with NASA, they've also been trying to invite us to partner with them on some of their high altitude balloon links. So with that, we can invite the teachers to be a part. Long answer, short question, I know, but hope that helps a little bit, Randall.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the second question, you were mentioning the teacher flight once a year. So that's something that comes along with being a member, obviously. And then so how would you sign up for that? Is there civil? I mean, I'm in North Jersey, so
It
I'm
doesn't
assuming
matter.
there's Civil Air Patrol around here.
There is. And the thing is, once you become a member, all the, all the links that Megan has put in, then and I have put in with the slide presentation, it'll get you to the pages that'll direct you to all these programs. The main link, if you'll pop that one more time, oh, you did slide that in there. Megan's last slide, link is the one that's going to get you to all of these programs. You'll just click on each one and go over them. But how do you get the flight? You just ask for it. It gives you the directions. You can ask me, or I can connect you with someone in New Jersey. We bring the planes to you. If there's not an airport or a Civil Air Patrol plane near enough to you, we will somehow get the plane to you and get you in your flight.
And that's all zero cost to us?
Zero cost. Everything is.
That's insane.
They even let you touch the yoke sometimes. Like they will let you take over now granted they have their hands there too, right? But I mean,
yeah, I would expect.
They really don't have their hands there. They let you take the controls, Megan. And until it's time to land. Until it's time to land. You can fly.
That's very true.
I think Artist knows that. Were you in the front seat on your flight, Artist?
No.
Oh, so you didn't get to do that.
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Randall. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Please. So with that flight, so I'm an environmental science teacher, and next year we're getting some new air quality sensors. So on a flight like that, is that something that we'd be like, I don't know how this would work. Would we be able to bring like some air quality monitors up with us? And will we be able to get like air samples or anything along those lines? Is that something I have to work out with the pilot?
Everything depends on size, but here's the thing. They're probably going to work with you to do that. That is why it's important to reach out to your closest CAP squadron and build a relationship with them. If Megan Tucker asked her CAP persons now for anything, they would do anything for her. She's built that relationship with them. And I hope that you'll be able to find someone to build that relationship with you as well. Each state has a wing director of aerospace education. That's the person that will send you to, and they will arrange your top flight, teacher orientation program flight, and any other thing. And your DAE in New Jersey is on top of things besides being a pilot. He would love to figure out how to make everything you want to do. He would love to make it work for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Diane got to fly your plane. Thank you. All right. Well,
Susan, I have some questions.
Okay, Artist. Thank you.
This is from somebody who couldn't be here tonight, but they wanted to know, do you have to be a U.S. citizen to join the Civil Air Patrol?
You do. Okay. Everything is funded by the United States Air Force. And when Randall was talking about, wow, all this is free, well, actually, you're paying for it with your taxpayer dollars. But the Air Force does pay for everything. And that's why we're really strict on, well, there's not just strictness to it. It's required. You have to be a U.S. citizen. Okay. And my next question is, does the Civil Air Patrol do anything with drones? Yes, we do. As I said, we used to have those in our STEM kits, but I think we've found a new vendor now that's going to fulfill the obligations of US made parts, every part of the drone, if you want to call it that. But when I talked about the airplanes, I didn't tell some of the other things, but, besides, the people on the ground in their vans, we've got airplanes. We have 565, I think, Cessna aircraft. We have the largest fleet of Cessna aircraft in the world. But we also do search and rescue missions besides with those planes with drones. So we have a big UAS program building up now. The cadets can work with any of the programs that the adults work in. So if the adults are working in a fire, a flood, hurricane, or any other disaster, a lost person or anything, the cadets are taught how to do those search and rescue missions as well. And that we have cadets who are working and getting their drone certification to do search and rescue with Civil Air Patrol's drone program. Okay, I have one more question, sort of, and that is, I don't know a lot about this, but I think right now the Civil Air Patrol is doing a stratospheric research program about contrails.
Are you
But
familiar with that? I thought that might be
that's
something our group would like to know about.
and I wish I could tell you more about that. It's not that it's a big secret or anything, but we've had an issue with the title of it, the name of it, but that's the one I was telling you about that NASA was so impressed with all the information we gathered during the solar eclipse that now we're doing this contrail mission, and it will be emerging out in the next couple of months here. So I wish I could tell you more, artists. I can't even send you to a website at this point.
But is
I,
that available to teachers and
it,
students or?
yes, it is.
Okay.
It's not an internal thing like the High Altitude Balloon Challenge is
Mhm.
internal only. What we did with the NASA Globe program and what we're going to be doing as follow on here will be for both our squadrons and teachers. So all of that will be available.
Great, thank you. Does anybody else have questions for Megan or Susan?
I have a question. Sorry, my names look so weird. I
I
don't know.
didn't know what to call you. So I was
I'm
trying to say
sorry.
she's got her hand up, but I could not tell you her name.
So I'm a career changer who's becoming a new Earth and space science teacher. I'll be in my own classroom starting next year, next school year. And I was wondering a little bit more about the kits because I'll be teaching high school and in a high needs school, probably in New York City or the New York City area. And so are the kits like the weather station kit and some of the others that are, very directly related to Earth and space science, are they at the high school level or are they at different levels and you can scale them up or down?
You can scale them up or down. We have primary classrooms with weather stations, high schools. Megan can attest to all this. They're all adjustable. Even the little Bbot code and go uh, kits that we have, you would think they're for primary, and they really are. But many of our special ed classes use those. Many of our middle schools even use them for young people who are intimidated and fearful of trying to start learning to code. So everything is perfectly scalable. So Megan, if you want to comment to that.
Oh, as Susan said it perfectly. I think that you can go as deep as you want or as surface as you want. Like she mentioned, with each kit, there's a book that comes with it. And that book gives you more resources and opportunities on how you could scale up or scale down. But I don't feel like there's kits that are just for elementary or just for high school. I do feel like there's something in the kit for every level, depending on what your purpose is for using it.
There's a description for each kit on the website that you'll see, and it gives suggested ages, but just like I said, that one for primary, we've used them for higher level students. And I do want to stress this too. If our STEM kit team has not done a good enough job to tell you what organization you need to connect with as subject matter experts for that, hopefully you will reach out and find that, because anything that we do, especially you as a new teacher, a career changing teacher, hopefully you can reach out and find someone who has the expertise to come in and give the above and beyond from what you can introduce from that kit.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there are no other questions tonight, first of all, I'd like to thank Megan and Susan for coming and doing this really inspiring presentation. Every time I hear it, every time I read about it, I get excited and I wish I was still in the classroom. But at this point, being able to share this with all of you is something I'm happy to be able to do. And Susan and Megan, I'll just extend another invitation to you. We have a quarterly journal that comes out, The Earth Scientist. And if you would like to write an article about any of what you've presented today, we would be most happy, I think, to get that into one of our upcoming issues, because obviously we had a smaller group of people with us tonight, but we'd like to be able to share that news with everyone in our organization.
Well, we will do our best to try to do that for you. That is something that I do often. I think Megan does too. Uh, we're just both of us are probably like all of you. We're really, really busy. And that's a great thing to be, is really busy. So we will do our very best to fulfill any requests that you have for us in any shape, form, or fashion.
So we have a question in chat. Will you be at NSTA?
Diane, I wish we were going to be. We're typically at NSTA, but I hate to have to tell you that Women in Aviation International conflicted with that week. So I had to make a choice, and Women in Aviation won out. So there we are. Maybe next year.
Okay.
The good thing about NSTA, I'll just tell you this quickly, it's past our time, but we typically just exhibit at NSTA, and we don't have a lot of corporate dollars to go do this type of thing. The Air Force dollars gets us where we need to be, but we can't do a lot of exhibiting, and it's quite expensive to exhibit there. But we found that's the best way to do it because we have so many little ambassadors running around like Megan, and they go into their sessions and then they tell people about us and they send them to our booth. So I'm going to miss hearing and feeling that excitement. So Diane, maybe you can share it for us.
And we will be at, well, we will. Susan probably doesn't even know this. I am presenting at ITEA, and I have Civil Air Patrol in my presentation because, as she said, everywhere we go, and ITEA is the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association in St. Louis, Missouri. So she's right. Like you probably could be at a presentation where it doesn't say Civil Air Patrol, but the resources are there. They're just so amazing that a lot of us just put it in to share the wealth of knowledge of how much it can enhance what you're already doing.
We just thank you for having us tonight. We've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed reading and learning about your organization. It's an awesome organization. So thank you for what each one of you do to try to build out things and make things better for young people in whatever your little world is.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time tonight, and we look forward to getting into some of these resources and sharing your presentation.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say constructive manner, I think.